All right, well, I was talking, but I didn't realize I was on mute, so I will go ahead and start over. So good day, everybody, and welcome to the Friday Lunch and Learn sponsored by the Do Space. My name is Julie, and I'll be your facilitator this afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about working together with Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Or if you have a question following the webinar, feel free to email me at jdospace@gmail.com. So there's several different ways that you can integrate the applications in Microsoft Office. The first thing that we're going to look at is Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and doing a mail merge. Then we're going to look at Microsoft Excel and Microsoft PowerPoint and linking graphs or charts. The third item on our agenda is going to be to import MS Word data into Microsoft Excel. And then we're going to look at how to transpose that data so that it is easy to manipulate in Microsoft Excel. The fourth thing we're going to do is we're going to be linking files in Microsoft Office, and we're going to be linking within Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you the first two files that we're going to be working with. I have a mail merge letter. And it's just a simple fictitious letter, but you can see that what we're going to do is we're going to put a return address in here. It says dear, but it does not have a name. It has item that you donated, the item donation item value, and the category, the number of tickets that you want to the fundraising event. Now, where am I going to get this data from? In this particular instance, I have the data in Microsoft Excel. As soon as this opens, I will share it with you. So you can see, let me move this over a little bit, that I have the donor ID as a field, the first name, the last name, their address, city, state, zip, phone number, the item that they donated, the item value, the category. So you can see how this is aligning with my mail merge letter. The other thing that I've done is I have taken my Outlook email address that I will be utilizing, because there's a couple of ways that you can manage the mail merge once it is done. You can save them to a file, you can send them to a printer, or you can have Microsoft Word email them through your Outlook account. So that's why I have all of them going to me, because obviously these are just random names that I picked up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close this file, and we're going to go back to the Word document. On the Word document, the first thing that we need to do is to move from the Home ribbon over here to the Mailings ribbon. Now, when you click on the Mailings ribbon, you'll note that most of the items buttons are grayed out. And that's because we don't have any data loaded into Microsoft Word to work with. So the first thing that we want to do is to upload the file that I just showed you. So I'm going to go ahead and say select recipients. You can certainly type a new list if you want to, but I'm going to use an existing list. And to be honest with you, I don't think I have ever typed a new list from within Microsoft Word. If you're doing this personally, you probably have a database of addresses that you are currently using. If you're using this professionally, more than likely, you'll be able to download this information from whatever given database your prospective place of employment utilizes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use an existing list. So I just clicked on that and it's going to say, okay, I'm going to browse out. The first place that it's going to go to is in your PC into the documents folder and my data sources. That's not where my data is. So I need to redirect this. So I just need to go to my do space presentations and working together with Excel, Word, and PowerPoint folder. And you can see that here's my mail merge data. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that file and click on open. And once this is loaded, oops, come in. What it's doing is it says, okay, is this what you want to use? The merge data? Yes, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And now you'll note that many of the items are now available for me to utilize. So that was underneath the Start Mail Merge. Now we're going to move over here to the Write and Insert fields. And I want to, first of all, I want to show you a few things. If I click on the Insert Merge field, I'm going to click on the down arrow, look at what the field names are. They should look familiar to you. Donor ID, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, item donated, item value, and so on. So all of those fields are here for me to utilize in my fictitious letter. Not that we need to use all of them, but it did import all of that data into the Microsoft Word. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to just put a return address right here. Now I could do that by selecting first name, last name, and so on, but right here we have something called the address block. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on address block. And this is what it shows me. So you can be as formal or as informal in the address elements as you want to. So if I scroll down a little bit, it's got, Mr. Joshua Q. Randall Jr. Now it's not going to put the junior on for any of my recipients because I don't have that suffix in there. You've got the Randall family. So maybe if you're sending out, an invitation for a wedding or an anniversary party, birthday party, and you want to invite the entire family, that might be an option for you. You can also be very informal and just have it put their first name. So though that is your choice, and I'm just going to go ahead and have a first and a last name. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're looking at the address. So I have a first name, a last name. I have my address, I have my city, state, and my zip. That looks really good, but sometimes it doesn't pull all of the data, and there's a reason for that. Down here, there's something called match fields. On match fields, what this is doing is Microsoft Word has all of these fields. And they called theirs, like last name matches with last name. Where's another one? Address one matched with address. City, state. Now look at this one. Postal code. In Microsoft Word, they use the term postal code. In my Excel spreadsheet, I use zip code. So what I needed to do is this is what it would look like, not match. I'm just going to click on OK. Now I don't have a postal code. So if part of your address is missing, you need to click on this match fields and say, okay, postal code is the same as this field in my particular database. So I'm going to go to zip code and the fields that are built in, it goes on and on and on. So you can have an awful lot of information in here to utilize in Microsoft Word. It might be worth your while to go in and look at the match field terms if you are just beginning, so that you're using the same terms as Microsoft Word, but you don't necessarily have to, because as you can see, you can match them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. our address looks great. We can look at the preview, so I can click through. I think I have about 10 people in my database, and you could just make sure that everybody looks good. Now, typically I wouldn't do that because if I was doing this for real, I would probably have, well over 100 letters that I was going to mail merge. But making sure that everything's set up correctly so that you don't have to go in and make some individual edits after you have completed the mail merge. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK, and it's going to insert something that just says address block. We didn't see anything. You don't see any of the data that we brought in from Microsoft Excel yet. Okay, if you want to see what it's going to look like, you can come up here and click on preview results, and that looks pretty good. There's the first one. Of course, you could arrow through and look at all 10 recipients if you want to. And then when you're ready to go back to work, you want to make sure and turn this preview results back off. All right, so now I place my cursor after the word deer, and there's a space in there. We obviously want a space in between the deer and the first name. So I'm going to come up to insert merge field. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can click right on top of this icon, and it will populate this window. I can say, okay, I want first name and insert. Now I have to click on close. I need to get rid of that one. And then after you put in first name, I also want to put in their last name. So I have to manually put in a space. Keep that in mind. If you need any syntax, you need to put that in by yourself. Then, and now you can click on this, but it's faster to click on the down arrow and select the one that you want. So, that way I don't have to bring up the window, select the one I want, then close the window so that I can manipulate my Word document and go back and forth. So just my personal opinion, obviously you can use whichever approach you think is best for you. Then item you donated, I'm going to come back up here to insert field name, and I'm just going to say item donated. And then I'm going to come down to the next line where it says your donation, item, value, and category. I'm going to come back up to insert merge field, and I want the item value. Now, you may have noticed that in my Microsoft Excel document, I did not have the format of currency or accounting applied to that. So when I go to bring in my value, and I'm just going to go up here to preview results so you can see this, it does not bring in the $sign. And it would not have brought in the $sign anyway. It doesn't bring forth the formatting from Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this just by clicking on the backspace once. It will highlight it, backspace again, and it will delete it. Now I'm going to put in my $sign. Now I'm going to put in the item value. Okay, now that looks a lot better. Okay, so they want item value and the category, so I can just put a slash there if I want to, or you can put in a couple of spaces, whichever works for you. Okay. So then we have to come down to, we have provided blank tickets. So the number of tickets that you requested, number attending, I guess it is. Number attending. Excuse me. Okay, so we have our address block, we have our first name, last name, item we donated, the item value, the category, the number of people attending the fundraising event. And we are good to, let's preview our results. Looks pretty good. Again, like I said, you can go through each one, but we're not going to do that. Now, when you're done, what you need to do is to come up here to finish and merge. And when you click on the down arrow, like I was saying earlier, you have three different choices. You can print the document. So if you are hooked up to a printer, and you want to print the documents, you can send them straight to the printer. If you want to save them to a file, you would select edit individual documents. And this is what the window that it will populate. How many records do you want to merge? All of them is what I would like. So I'm just going to click on OK. When I click on OK, it's going to open up another Word document. It'll be called Letters 1 with all of my letters in that document. So there's letters 1, and as I scroll down, there's letter 1, letter 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So all of my information is there. Now, this so I try not to edit. But look at this. There's a not a typo, but because this person only wanted 1 ticket, that can't be plural. So be careful with some of those things when you're thinking about putting together your mail merge. Because like I said, I only have 10, but sometimes you're going to have, hundreds or even thousands of letters that you're going to be sending. So this is in this file. I can now send it to the printer if I want to. I can save it and I can email it to somebody else. Whatever you want to do with it, it's there for you to utilize. I'm just going to minimize this, making sure that there's no questions. Now, the third option is to send email messages. Sounds a lot easier, right? If you print these off, then you have to stuff the envelopes. So 2, and the field name was email address. If I click on the down arrow, again, there's all those fields that came from my Excel document. Subject line. Mail merge, and we want all of them to go, so we can click on OK, and it takes a minute or two, but here you're going to see it go through each one of my letters as it prepares to send them via email. And we will check on that. It doesn't happen instantaneously, at least not for me. So we will check on that towards the end of our session today. So that's a little bit about mail merge. The mail merge is a great tool for you to utilize, whether you're doing something, like I said, personally or professionally. If you're sending out invitations or Christmas cards, letters to potential clients, this can save you an awful lot of time. I am just going to minimize these just in case you have questions that I need to go back to them. We can go back to my agenda here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Microsoft Excel and linking to PowerPoint. This is really powerful, depending on how you use the Microsoft Office apps. This is one that I use quite frequently with the charting. So I'm just going to open up an Excel file, and it's a real simple one. It's something. Yeah, sure, absolutely. You could just put a space in there. I don't like the underline either. To be honest with you, I should really take that out. You can just take that out of your oops, where is it? You could edit your mail merge template and not have that line underneath there. Yep, you are very welcome. Okay, so I have a very simple Excel spreadsheet here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to create a simple graph of my expenses and my totals. Okay, so I'm going to select the data that I want to include in my chart. I use the control key to select non-adjacent items. Then I'm going to go to the insert ribbon, and on the insert ribbon, you have all these different charts. I always tell people click on recommended charts, because what's going to happen is Excel will analyze the data and it will say, okay, here are the recommended charts. Now, if you don't like any of these, there's two tabs here. You can click on all charts and go pick out whichever chart you would like. But I'm just going to be pretty generic here. I'll come down here and get this clustered bar and click on OK. I'm going to move the chart to a new worksheet just so that it's a little bit bigger, so for you to see. I'm going to make a few adjustments here before I show you some additional options and how to place it into PowerPoint so that the two talk. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, why on earth would I want to move the chart from Excel into PowerPoint? If you have a presentation that you are giving, I would highly recommend that you not show people raw data. So if I was going to present my 2020 budget, I certainly would not want them to see all of these numbers. What you want to do is narrow down what you want to emphasize from within that data, create a chart out of it. I'm utilizing PowerPoint. You can also link this to Microsoft Word if that's something that would be of interest to you. And I'm going to go over here. I want to go ahead and I add a chart elements. So I want my data labels. And now I don't need my access. Okay. So I have my chart. Now, even within this file, if I go to my 2022 budget, excuse me, and I make a change, and I'm just going to make a drastic change here. So for whatever reason, I'm going to say that the visa is $2,300 for the entire year. So that moved that to $27,600. When I come over here to chart 1, you can see that updated. Now I'm still within Microsoft Excel, but I don't have to be. So let's copy this. I'm just going to select this and we'll come up and we'll copy it, or you can use a Control-C. I'm just going to go up to File and get a brand new PowerPoint presentation. Because we're graphing, I don't need any of this. Let's go ahead and delete these. Close my designer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this in. So there is my chart. Now, when I did the paste, what you want to make sure to do, actually, I'm going to slow down and back up for a second. When you go to paste, there are two options for linking. You can use the destination theme and link data, or you can keep source formatting and link data. It doesn't matter which one you use, but you have to use one of those two to link the data. If you were to just put in a picture, it would not link the data. So if you made an adjustment in Excel, it's not going to make the adjustment in PowerPoint. So I'm going to keep the, oh, yeah, that's fine. It is linked. I'll just make it a little bit bigger here so we cover this slide. And move that over a little bit. There we go. Keep on. All right. So now we have it in PowerPoint. I don't even have it saved, and watch what's going to happen. I'm going to go back to Excel. I'm going to go back to my budget, and I'm just gonna do a Control Z to undo this. So I moved from my 27,000 back down to my just under 4,000. I'm gonna go back over to my chart in Excel. It updated. Now I'm gonna go back to PowerPoint and it updated. Okay, so when you're linking those, make sure that, or when you're copying those, make sure that you're linking them. Or if you don't want them to update, you can paste them as a picture, which is this option right here, which just says picture, and I don't want that. I say when I do link these, I save this information in the same folder. You don't necessarily have to. That is just my file management process. And to be honest with you, I said something about presenting the data earlier. This is the approach that I take, and most of the time I'm not presenting the data, but I need to share the data with top management that I'm looking at. So I create the graphs, I save them into a PowerPoint presentation, and I email the data that I want to emphasize to them. Now, obviously, they want specific data that they want to look at with each report. But if something else, grabs my attention, I will include that in the report as well. So you can have those two go back and forth. If you have to create a report on a regular basis, and this is what I do, I created my Excel workbook, I created the template, and then when I get the new data, I put the new data in the template, and it automatically updates my PowerPoint for me. So all of the visuals are there. It took me a while, don't get me wrong, to make sure that my Excel template was just perfect, and that the way that I wanted to chart the data, there's sometimes data looks a little bit better in line charts than it does bar charts or pie charts. And that's 100% up to you. There's some theories behind that. But whichever you feel. So if you have a PowerPoint presentation, you get new data every week or every month, every quarter, you can set that up so that you don't have to go in here and tell it to insert a new chart every time. You have everything taken care of. So when you insert your new data, it will update as many charts as you have in PowerPoint. It will update that for you. Okay, so that's one that I think is a lot of fun. Go back. I'm gonna save this. I don't want to have place. I want to browse. I found that I usually have to try several different chart types to find the one that works best. Yes. And the funny thing about charts is if you've ever put together a PowerPoint presentation or anything, a flyer, and you're trying to tweak it and make sure that it is perfect, that I find myself doing the same with charts. Okay, so I'm just going to call this data. And I'm going to close this. Now, if you want to, you can insert a link. So let's say that for whatever reason, you don't want to save these in the same folder. Like I said, you don't have to. But another nice feature of Microsoft, the Microsoft applications, is that you can link them amongst one another. So I can come up here to insert, and I'm going to go over to links, and I'm going to tell it that I want to insert a link, and here is my data. So I'm just gonna go ahead, text to display. I can just come up here and call this my charts and say, okay, there is my link. So if I want to open the corresponding PowerPoint for this particular Excel workbook, all I have to do is click on this. And say, yes, I trust it, and it will open the document for you. So you can link, within, from Excel to PowerPoint, or if you have Excel to Word, whatever the case may be, you can certainly do that. So you can create links to internal documents, or you can create links to external websites as well. So the same thing, if I come down here and I say that I want to insert a link, and I'm just going to say that this is to Sam's Club. I can come down here and put in their address, www.samsclub.com, click on OK, and now I have a link to Sam's Club. Now all I have to do is click on that, and it will open the website for me. Not that Sam's Club is a Microsoft application, but you can link to the internet. Okay, so a couple of options for linking. Let me go ahead and just minimize this. Another one that I want to show you is this Microsoft, the project data sheet. So when I open up the project data sheet, it'll be here in just a second. You can see that I have project data sheet, project name, start date, end date, supervisor. Let's say that you want to create a Gantt chart out of this, or you want to calculate how many days is each one of these projects going to take. The network overhaul, the software upgrade, the hardware install. Now, obviously, you can glance at these and you tell that, this is 3 days, this is 5 days, and so on. But let's let Excel do the work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a blank Excel document. Make this a little bit bigger so it's easier for everybody to see. And I'm going to move from the home ribbon over here to the data ribbon. And on the data ribbon, I'm going to go over here to get data. Now, what most people don't understand is that you can import data into Microsoft Excel from literally anywhere. From a PDF, we're using a Word file because this is all about the Microsoft apps. But I do want to emphasize that if you have information and access and you want to put it in Excel, you can use this same approach and it will upload into Excel for you. So if you have information that you would like to use in Excel, and you think, well, I don't want to have to retype all of that. You do not have to do that. You can simply use this same approach that I am using. I didn't look at this right before. I looked at some of this. This is Microsoft being their best. This has been updated since the last time I brought something in from a Word document. I'll find it. think I'm making this too hard. I'm probably overlooking it. Picture of recent sources, external connections. Okay. Let's try one of these and just see what happens. From file, let's just go with the text CVS and see if it will bring it in for us from that. Thinking, thinking, thinking. Okay. Then I need to go back to my DoSpace presentations. And to working together. Now, it's not showing me any files because I am looking, it thinks I'm looking for a text file. I'm going to tell it that I want to see all my files. And here's my project data sheet. So I'm just going to double click on that. Let's see what happens. It's connecting. That's a good sign. Okay, didn't like that. All right, that didn't work. So let's keep looking here. I don't think from folder will work, but we're going to give it a shot. Yeah, it wants me to select an entire folder with that one. That's kind of where I thought I would get. Not a database. See what query options gives me. I apologize, folks. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me see what else I have in. Or actually, let's do this. Let's go back in since this is, let's do some problem solving. Since this is giving us some fits, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back in, I'm going to go to file, and I'm going to save as. I'm going to browse out. And I'm going to save this as a PDF. So I'm going to change the format of my Word document to a PDF. I'm going to click on save. We'll close this document up again. Now, when I go back to my folder, you'll note that look what I have here, project data sheet. So let's go back into Excel. Get file from folder from PDF. Okay, now we're getting someplace. So, I'm sorry that happened, but probably good to see that happened in case you're struggling or you have a Word document, save it as a PDF. And let's see what happens this time. Thinking. All right, this looks like what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on page 1. And there's all of my data. My project data sheet, the project name, start date, end date, supervisor, and so on. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to tell it to load the data. All right. So here is my data. Now I inserted in a table, and I'm going to convert this to a range. Because what I want to do is I want to take this data. Because right now that's hard to read. What I want is the project name. So I want the projects to be listed here, the start date to be listed in column B, the end date to be in column C, and the supervisor in column D, approximately. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight this data, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come up to paste, and I'm going to tell it that I want to transpose the data. Uncheck which column, Dean? Oh, yeah, I just took from project name down to supervisor. And then when I copy it, I should be able to just transpose this. I just did this right before we right before I logged in. Let's do this. Let's delete those two. I don't know why that would make a difference, but it should be transposing. I mean, it's transposing it, but it should be transposing it into columns. Oh, hmm. Well, this is, I think I may have deleted my. This is what it should be doing. Um, very interesting. Well, if you want to know more about that, I will figure it out. You can email me and I can share that with you. I think we have one more thing to go over. And that is linking from with in Microsoft PowerPoint. I don't know, I guess I don't have that open. So just real quickly, I thought that this might be kind of interesting, talking about linking and doing some different things from within PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint that I put together. Typically, when you think about PowerPoints, you think about looking at them in a linear nature. You can also create a PowerPoint to be in a branched nature. And what I mean by that is we're going to create more of a website out of this, allowing you to select which one of these options you want, and not look at them in a specific order, but the order that you want to. So if I go back to insert, or the keyboard shortcut is Control K, that is a keyboard shortcut that I use quite frequently. What I can do is I can take this particular square where it all began, and I can link it to that particular slide within my PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to click on OK, and then we'll click on growing up, and we'll insert another link, and OK. The show and return is not working. Doesn't look like that's available. That's okay. College days and okay. Places of employment. All right, so what I just did, let me go ahead and put this into the presentation mode. And now you can see when I hover my mouse over these, I can, it will take me to that particular slide. Okay, so there is a slide. Now, the problem is I don't have a way to get back. So to get back, I'm going to stay on the insert ribbon, and I'm going to go to shapes. I'm just going to grab an arrow. And then I'm going to insert, I'm going to create a link out of that object. So it says, okay, where do you want to go? And I want it to go back to the agenda. And I'm going to click on OK. So now that I have that, let's just make sure that it works. Back arrow. An agenda. Okay. So you don't have to create a backlink for every single slide. I can just copy this, and I can go to each slide and paste that in. And it will paste in the same spot where I had the other one. And now if I go to my, yeah, there we go. Presentation mode, you can click. So you could create a presentation for a business or for personal reasons utilizing this. You could create a game for a birthday party or Christmas. A lot of people, if you like the game Jeopardy, just do a Google search for Jeopardy PowerPoint, and there's templates out there that you can use. You can put in your own questions, your own answers. You can create your own little game show there. All right, let me make sure that I talked about everything on our agenda. Excel, PowerPoint, Word. Should probably make a note that that needs to be a PDF now. Linking files, we did that, and within. Okay, any final questions? thank you everybody for joining me. It has been a pleasure as always. It's, January 31st, so we made it through the month of January. With some fairly nice weather. The rain didn't hit us, but hopefully we will get some moisture pretty soon. But as always, big shout out to the Do Space for everything they do for the greater Omaha area. Check out the calendar, folks. They got lots of great things going on. And I hope to see you again soon in another Lunch and Learn. Take care. Have a great weekend.